people should really try to support him because he has no sponsors. And I just want to make a quick comment. And I even hate to mention this, but, you know, you had Jim Mars on your Monday show, and there was a caller asking Jim Mars, like, you know, what's up with the whole reptilian thing? And Jim Mars, and you responded with basically something like, you know, no one's perfect, and why not hypothesize that?
Well, that's what Jim said. Jim said that he wouldn't put it past him.
Right, but, you know, to be really honest about it, the whole reptilian thing is basically entertainment at best and a psyop, I think, at worst. And
well, I don't disagree. I don't think that I've ever given it any kind of credence. The caller called in about it, and I've made my thing clear. I think that, you know, in order for you to talk about reptilian shapeshifters from the fourth dimension, the Anunnaki, I think you need a video of somebody shapeshifting into a reptile, or you need a specimen. I mean, for me to even go that far, I always tell people, listen, check out everybody's information, all of it, but take all of it with a grain of salt, and try to do your own independent research for verification.
Right, and, you know, what I just want to say is that when you mix hard, cold facts that can be documented, which Jim Mars does write about, and which are so important to educate people with so they begin to question their zombified reality, when you mix that with, you know, by even mentioning the reptilian thing, what it does is completely discredit
We got to go to,
everything.
I agree with you, we've got to go to break. I'll come back to that point afterwards. Final segment with Alan Watt, cuttingthroughthematrix.com. We are back. Final segment with Alan Watt. Let me just speak to that point one more time. You know, at one end, I absolutely agree with her. That's not something we usually talk about on the show. You know, reptilians or, you know, all this outward just crazy stuff. I mean, there's a certain point where some people just want to believe anything and they'll just take it to the next level, no matter how real the information is. But on another point, this is an open show. We have no screeners, so we take all calls. So when a caller calls in and asks Jim Mars about something he wrote in a book, you know, over a decade ago, and whether he still believes it, I can't help it but take that call. You know, I take all callers, and whether they be, you know, nuts or racist or just misguided or ignorant or dead on. So, you know, that's what makes this show great. Alan, would you speak to that? I mean, there are so many things in this quote-unquote patriot movement out there that are just utter nonsensory.
Well, every movement that's ever wisened up to what's going on in the world has had, down the road, they've had leaders supplied to them. And the old technique, Lawrence of Arabia wrote about this, by the way. He was set up by Cambridge and then into the British Secret Service to really misguide the Arab countries by getting newspapers up and running and all the rest of it. But they always mix fact with fiction. If they can mix enough incredible fiction with the fact, it truly does discredit the truth, and that's called counterintelligence. So I'm not surprised. You know, certain people have been put out there that have been well financed from the beginning. They've been launched by major national television companies. That doesn't happen if you're a nobody. That happens because it's meant to happen. And unfortunately, lots of people follow this stuff. Then they try to explain the conspiracy, and as soon as you mention aliens or reptiles walking around eating people and drinking blood, they'll just laugh at you. So you get lumped in with your facts into the alien crowd.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, you know, when we put out Loose Change and we got a lot of press for that, you'd see articles all the time, oh, you know, Jew-drinking reptiles and anti-Semitic stuff and all this garbage. Meanwhile, I'm trying to expose the people that did this, the real names, the real people, the real organizations that have ties to this forces, whether it be, the continuity of government program, the shadow government, the Israeli Mossad, the Pakistani ISI, British intelligence, real players in this, and then trying to expose even the higher level above that, the people that control the Federal Reserve, the people like the Rothschilds that have their own estates in the middle of London that are sovereign nations, folks, sovereign nations. All right, let's take one last call for you, Alan. I want to thank you for joining us because you are a great guest, and I really do enjoy what you do as well. Let's go to Ed in Florida. Ed, final caller for Ellen Watt.
Oh, nice. I squeezed in the last one, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, first off, Jason, thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Your movies, everything, top-notch, most respect to you. Now, for Alan, I know a few months ago I caught him on a show with Alex, and he made a comment about that a lot of the people that have been woke up had something to do with allergies. And I wanted to know if you could comment on that, because I missed it, and I tried to catch it the next day, and I missed it again, and I've been boggling my mind forever.
All right, go ahead, Alan. You got about 90 seconds.
Yeah, very quickly. Arthur Koestler wrote about ways to lobotomize the brain physically. He worked for MI6. It's now declassified. He worked for the United Nations on that project using chemicals and inoculations and so on. The stuff is meant to target the brain, and certain people, because of your genetic makeup, it will go to other parts of the body. You end up with massive allergies, but your brain is intact. It's that simple.
All right, thank you so much, Alan Watt. It's cuttingthroughthematrix.com. We'll be back after this. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas, PrisonPlanet.tv, Infowars.com.